Your call has been forwarded to an automatic voice message system.
Matt Horn
is not available. At the tone, please record your message. When you have finished recording, you may hang up or press 1 for more options.
You see Tommy?
He in trouble again?
He's a screw-up.
Screw-up or not, he's my brother.
You're
a good boy, Sean. But Tommy ain't worth shooting.
How much trouble you in anyway?
6 large.
Jesus, Tommy.
Hello, is Matthew Horn there? I need to speak with him. This is Sarah calling from the IRS in California. It seems that you have a tax bill. I realize that might be outside of what you would consider the lawless range, but the truth of the matter is that you owe us a bunch of money. I would appreciate it if you could call us back at 1-800-555-1212. Thank you.
So on the line we have Jacquie Barnbrook talking to us. From where are you talking to us from?
From Hollywood, California, really.
Is it raining where you are?
It has been dribbling a little bit. It's very gloomy. I have to say, though, the sunsets have been extraordinary for the past week. Everybody keeps posting all these beautiful sunsets on social media because once the sort of sky clears up from the rain and we get a little bit of wind and get all of the muck out, it can be such a beautiful place.
Now, Jacquie, I don't normally do this, but I think you understand why I'm doing this. Today, we lost one of our greats. We lost David Bowie.
Oh, it's heartbreaking. Can I tell you a weird, funny little tidbit? You know, Facebook is such an amazing place to sort of connect with people, and there is a gentleman in London called Jacquie Barnbrook, who I'm not directly related to, but we reckon that we're indirectly related. And he is quite a prolific graphic artist. I believe he designed David Bowie's last album, Black Star. And he wrote a beautiful tribute to him on Facebook and said such beautiful things about what an incredible human being he was on so many levels. So grounded and so inclusive and collaborative as an artist. And it was just heartbreaking. I mean, he was very young in this day and age, and I hope that he wasn't suffering. A little bit of trivia around his new album and my very, very indirect connection.
Well, obviously we've got to go on to the main thing, which is our sort of podcast bit. Obviously I've told you how it works, haven't I? For anyone who's not heard of me before, this is what happens.
Hello, and welcome to Matt Horn Meets. I am a computer, the Hawk 1000. I am here to tell you how the podcast works. Throughout the interview, both Matt and the interviewee will be selecting objects for use in the final part of the podcast, where the interviewee will be pitching a film idea. It should be noted at this point that the interviewee's responses are real and at time of recording, and none of the objects have been selected beforehand. Thank you, and goodbye.
And that's basically it. So, Jacquie, are you feeling confident?
Well, that's relative, but yes.
Okay. So, first object, always first object. The first object of the podcast is always about the current project that we're trying to promote, which obviously is Lawless Range.
Okay.
What do you think we should do for Lawless Range?
I feel like we need to include the trailer park somehow.
So, trailer maybe?
Yeah, trailer.
Okay. We'll have a trailer. That's actually quite a good one. So, obviously we need to say that Lawless Range was released on Saturday. Correct me if I'm wrong, Jacquie.
Oh, gosh. Now you're asking me release dates. That's not my forte. You know, I've been in a little bit of conversation with Sean. I think it was recently. You know better than I do, actually, at this point.
It was the 5th of January, so...
See?
Yeah.
You're amazing.
I know. I've got IMDb with me. So, obviously, Lawless Range, I believe, actually had the premiere on Saturday because there's been a few interviews so far which have sort of been pointing to it. What's the general plot line surrounding the film?
You know, Matt, I I don't remember. Is that just pathetic? I shot this so long ago, and I've done like 100 projects in between. I'm so sorry. I had a very small role in this. Sean McGinley, the director, is somebody that I worked with before on another movie called The Great Buck Howard. And so he just offered me this role. I literally came in for one evening and shot it and left. And I had, a page of dialogue maybe. It's a very short scene, and I love working with him. He's an amazing guy. But to be quite honest, I don't quite remember. Well, isn't that terrible?
Not really, because there's been a number of people who've been saying that it was filmed in 2012, 13, somewhere around there. And my question, usually when they say that, is, isn't it great that it's out now?
Oh, it's fantastic. Are you kidding? It's so hard to make a movie. It's so hard to get distribution. I mean, it's like the same odds as being born on the planet. It's like a million, a billion, trillion to one. So the fact that he has something that's being distributed is amazing. And like I said, I love working with Sean. He's a lovely director and a lovely person. So I feel very honored to have been part of the project.
Just for everybody else, it's basically about two brothers. One of them's got £6,000 in debt, and then effectively it's just trying to get him out of that debt by any means possible.
Yes, that is correct. I remember that now. Exactly. Although I think it was dollars, Matt. I don't think it was pounds.
You can correct me there. Even in that evening's shoot, can you remember any sort of funny anecdotes that might have happened?
What was really great is that this guy came up to me at one point and he said, "So who are you?" And I said, "I'm the trailer park manager." And he said, "Oh," he said, "do you know if we can use the pool later?" And I said, "No, not in real life, in the movie." And he goes, "Oh!" And I said, "You see, that's how good I am. That's how good of an actress I am. You thought I was really the trailer park manager."
At least he didn't think that you were sort of in debt of $6,000.
I know, or some kind of serial killer. Yeah, no, it was a fun night.
So obviously we need to go on to your second object. It's a 5x5, signed, yes, very much signed. I spent a year doing it. A signed photo of myself.
Really?
That picture that you saw as well.
That's cute.
Thank you.
That's a cute picture, yeah.
There's a worse picture I'm thinking of, and everyone's seen it. Nobody needs to see it again. Basically, the question that comes with it is, what made you want to get into the industry in the first place?
I have always wanted to be in the industry as far back as I can remember. I was actually having this conversation with somebody the other day. We were talking about, did you know the moment that you wanted to be an actor, performer, dancer, or gymnast or whatever? I have a couple of friends who are gymnasts, and they said, the minute they saw Nadia Comaneci, they were like, that's what I have to do. And I know the minute I saw The Wizard of Oz, I was like, that's what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to be making movies, and I'm going to be a performer. That's what I'm going to do.
It's interesting you mentioned The Wizard of Oz. Isn't it the first film that goes from black and white to colour?
Yes, it is.
Mm-hmm. I think that's just an amazing landmark. At the time, obviously, it would have been... Yeah.
Interestingly, when I'm not acting, I work in the movie business as well. I don't know if you looked me up on IMDb, but one of the things that I do is I work in technology. I work with a lot of technology, and I'm often part of creating sort of cutting-edge processes to make movies or make magical things in visual effects and animation. So it's interesting that you said that, because it just made me think, oh, that's interesting. That's the first thing that struck me when I was a kid, because I work both as a performer and as a producer. So
it's time for the quickfire round, which isn't a quickfire round, but we're saying it's a quickfire round. And basically what it is that you now have a choice of 1 to 5 objects in exchange for 1 to 5 questions about your career. I don't have any input into this, but you get to choose them from my ISU, or Imaginary Storage Unit, which is kind of a mix between TARDIS and the Sherlock's Mind Palace.
Okay.
You see, this has been really thought up.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, how many objects would you like?
Oh, I like the number 3.
You like the number 3. Most people like the number 3. I don't know why. What objects would you like?
Okay, I'll have a cat.
A cat, yes.
A Okay. I will have a flash drive.
A flash drive, yes. Okay.
And I will have, let's see, a cup of coffee.
Cup of coffee, okay. Going back to the quickfire round, which isn't a quickfire round, but obviously we get the gist round about now. Let's talk about the visual effects thing. Question 1. To actually do special effects, to actually do visual effects on a film, is it expensive and does it cost quite a lot of money to do?
Yes. Visual effects are computer-generated images. Special effects are on-set magic tricks, basically. So special effects are things like explosions, gunfire. They might be special effects makeup, prosthetics, that sort of thing. But visual effects is any of the computer-generated imagery. And because of the amount of labor it might take, or the number of artists it might take to complete a 5-second shot, it can get very expensive. And you have to imagine that sometimes every frame needs to be addressed or worked on, and there's 24 frames per second. If you remember, the last Lord of the Rings was 48 frames per second. All of that has to be calculated and figured out. So it can be exponentially more expensive if you don't plan ahead, but it definitely does start out as expensive because you need people who are not only artistic but technically savvy.
I mean, for example, let's take Spider-Man as read, because you did work on it as a visual effects producer. Just one shot of a computer-generated Spider-Man would take how long?
Say it's a shot of him going through the city. He's shooting his web and he's, going from building to building. First of all, you have to build the city. And then second of all, you have to build him and you have to build the web, right? So you have to imagine that Spider-Man alone would probably take about a 6-month period of time to build. And the city takes, probably another 6 months. You would, build them simultaneously and then build the web too. Once you have all of those things built, it's probably about 4 to 6 weeks to create a 5-second shot. And that's because you have to animate all the cars and all the stuff in the street. You have to animate Spider-Man, and you have to run all the effects work on the web that he shoots, as well as then light everything. Yeah.
Your second question here, and it is kind of to do with visual effects again. What with the advent of stuff like mocap in gaming, which obviously is a sort of a new thing and relatively sort of not unexplored, but it's becoming a norm thing for the gaming industry. And of course, Lord of the Rings had people like Andy Serkis doing mocap as Smeagol. What are your thoughts on that? Because surely that makes it quicker to produce, but then must also get rid of jobs for people as well at the same time.
I've done 4 mocap movies. Beowulf, Christmas Carol, Mars Needs Moms, and Tintin, right? It's not faster. The only thing that's faster is it's faster to shoot, because the shooting experience, you don't have to do coverage. Normally when you shoot a movie, you would shoot a master shot, which is a wider shot, and then you come in for close-ups and overs and other fancy camera moves and whatnot. With motion capture, you usually have 200 to 300 cameras shooting in the volume, and so they're capturing everything in 360 degrees. So you can create whatever camera move you want to after the fact in post. You shoot it more like theater. So for instance, I think Tintin was shot in 28 days, which, normally if you were shooting a live action movie, it would probably be more like over 100 days. So then once you have the motion capture shot, then you have to clean up all of the work. You have to make selects from there, because what happens is when you shoot the motion capture, sometimes the computer will stick your arm on top of your head or something like that. You know what I mean? Like there's all kinds of crazy things that happen in the computer, and then you have to get artists to clean up all of that information to make sure that things are working properly. And then once you make those selects, the animators have to go in and smooth things out, as well as animate eyes and tongues and fingers. We don't capture eyes and tongues and fingers, so that has to be animated separately. And then there might be other extraneous things you have to put into the scene. But there's a lot of work that happens just in the mocap stage that does not make it cheaper. It just makes the shooting faster. That's all. And it's like anything. You have to figure out what tools you need. What are the best tools you need to create the best possible product, right? So, motion capture is always best when used for humans or a human type character, right? Like for Gollum, it's a perfect translation because Gollum's a sort of a human type character in that he's got 2 arms and 2 legs. And so there is a way of walking or, performing that it's hard to create from just animation or keyframe animation. Not that there aren't amazing keyframe animators out there, but, when you have somebody who's as masterful as Andy Serkis driving that character, it really makes it extraordinary.
You must think I'm strange asking these questions. I've got no clue about visual effects.
I love that you're asking them. I love to talk about this stuff. I just feel like I'm going on forever, and I apologize.
A sub-question to that, and I'm sure people would love to know this, is what advice would you give to anyone wanting to pursue a career in visual effects?
Well, depending on what you want to do, if you want to be an artist or if you want to be a producer or a supervisor, it would be different depending on what your, avenue of visual effects you want it to be in. But I think a great place to start if you're wanting to be a producer is to start out just working as a production assistant for a visual effects company or for a production on set in the visual effects department. If you want to be an artist, then I say you have to go to school and learn the software, learn all the software programs. If you're interested in being a visual effects supervisor, then you have to almost learn like every department. You need to know editing, you need to know camera work, you need to understand all of the technical issues around executing visual effects, but then you have to be of the mentality that you're sort of like a director yourself, you know what I mean, and a filmmaker yourself, because you have to be able to make good choices within the context of making a film according to whatever the director's vision is. That's my quick answer. That's my rapid fire answer.
Your third and final question here, before we go into the improv bit, is going actually back to your acting career, really, to be honest.
Yeah.
Is which actor or actress has been your favourite to work with and why?
Well, it's a toss-up between John Malkovich and Jim Carrey, both for the same reasons, because they're so committed and dedicated to what they're doing, and they improvise a lot. John Malkovich and Jim never do the same take twice. It's never the same twice, so you have to really be on your toes, and that's exciting as an actor, I think, when you get to have a little bit of leeway.
And they've both done very well for themselves, actually, in career.
Yeah. Yeah, no, they're very talented.
Well, it's come to the improv bit. Oh, you're dreading this, aren't you, now?
I am.
Yeah. So to recap, we got a trailer, 5x5 signed photo of myself, a cat, a flash drive, and a cup of coffee. Now, because you're special, Jackie, right? You're special. This is going to be a fun one. Usually what we say to people is they have to pitch to us an idea for a 5 to 10 minute short film. But with yours, I'm going to add something to it, which you might enjoy. 5 to 10 minute short film that has visual effects in.
Oh, good. Yeah. Okay, so there's this woman, Sarah. She works for the IRS. She doesn't really make a lot of money because they don't really pay very well. She lives in a trailer. And her dream is to one day meet Matt Horn, and she keeps a 5x5 signed photograph of him by her bed. Unfortunately, her cat knocked the frame over and broke it. And he knocked over a cup of coffee on her nightstand as well, so it's been damaged. And she's been looking everywhere for her flash drive so that she could maybe reprint the picture. And she's thinking that she might have to do it at work. And if she does it at work, she has to push the flash drive into a work computer, and they don't really allow that. So she's going to use her special powers to make herself invisible. and that way she won't get caught. I think that she's gotten these special powers from some lightning that struck the trailer park, and has given her this ability to become invisible. And so through the course of the short, she gets up to a lot of shenanigans, in her becoming invisible. She makes it happen, and she makes it happen that she gets to print out this picture of Matt. And of course, because of that, she lives happily ever after. And I just want to say one other thing. The last sort of button on the short is her holding this picture of Matt, this signed picture, the broken one, and dancing with it to David Bowie's Let's Dance.
Aww. In memory of the man. Aww.
Yes.
So sad.
I know. How heartbreaking.
Mm.
What a beautiful human being he was, yeah.
Anyway, because you've been such a trooper, that's a sort of a catchphrase leading on now. Because you've been such a trooper, you now get a reward for all your hard trouble. It's a 1 minute plug to obviously plug the film and anything you've got coming up.
Okay. So I think that everybody would really enjoy seeing Lawless Range. I believe you can watch it streaming online or download it from, I believe, Netflix or Amazon or something like that. And everybody should go out and get it and watch it. Sean is a beautiful director, and it's a lovely story. Also, in March, The Little Prince comes out, which I'm a voice in. And then in April, I'm also in Jungle Book, which comes out, in April. I think it's April 15th or something like that this year. On the visual effects side, coming soon to a virtual reality app near you is the Martian VR experience, which I produced. So that's it. Those are some of the fun things that I've been working on.
You didn't mention any of this before. Obviously, the Jungle Book is coming out. We're talking the one that's got Benedict Cumberbatch, I think, as Shere Khan.
No, I don't think so. This is the Jon Favreau one. Shere Khan, I believe, I thought it was Idris Elba. I've been wrong before. It happened.
Oh, okay. There's an irony here. The one I'm thinking about is called Jungle Book Origins, and it's got Andy Serkis as directing.
Yes.
Right.
That's the Warner Brothers one.
Yeah.
This one is the Disney one.
Right.
Yeah. The Disney one is with Lupita Nyong'o and Ben Kingsley and Bill Murray and those guys, yeah.
See, I'm a bit confused now. Why make a Jungle Book movie and then have a Jungle Book movie the next year? And, of course, that VR one as well. Is it based on the film?
Yes, you get to be Matt Damon in the experience, definitely. Really, it's super fun stuff. There's tons of press on it right now. We just launched it for some press at CES, which is the Consumer Electronics Show.
Is that the sort of the Oculus Rift technology?
It's Oculus Rift. It's the Vive, which is HTC Valve, and then there'll be a version for PlayStation VR, and also there's a teaser that you can watch right now on the Samsung Gear.
I mean, I think a lot of people would like to be Matt Damon, but not in the Martian respect.
Yeah. I'd like to be Matt Damon, but not necessarily stranded on Mars.
No. Oh, dear. Well, Jackie, it's been a pleasure interviewing you.
You too. Thank you.
Obviously, we'll have to get you back now.
Yeah.
Because there's too many projects you're involved in that are visually spectacular.
I think it's true. Yeah. Well, it was lovely to talk to you, Matt. Thank you for asking me to come on the show. I appreciate it.
Thanks very much for your time. Bye-bye now.
Take care. Bye-bye.